Recording. Yes. So good evening, guys. So we will see uh, sequence. Okay. So last class, I mean, morning we have seen how to declare the sequence in MySQL. So there is only one way. Okay. You can specify or you can create sequence in custom sequence in in Oracle, but in MySQL there is a predefined sequence called auto increment, and we have seen the uses of it. Okay, so now we will see in Oracle. So just before going to this, let me just connect with Oracle, or because in my system it's not there. Let me just share a different screen. So are you able to see this screen now, everyone? Can you please respond? Yes, cool. So it is. I have installed it into different system. Okay, so let me see here. Let me just check. Okay, so what basically we can do, we will just uh, exist as of now. Suppose okay, there is nothing here. Now I need to connect with Oracle database. Okay, so we have already seen this. There's a way SQL plus. Okay, and you can give connect. Okay, then it will ask you, okay, to the password. So I am entering the password here. So see, it is what it is saying. It is asking for username first. Okay, so first you have to provide the username. So username is by default, as we have seen earlier in the initial classes. System is the user. Okay, similarly, like how in MySQL root is the username, in Oracle the username is system. Okay, and password I'm entering now. Okay, so now it is connected. So now we'll see here. So so this command, if I want to see how many databases are there, it will not work. Okay, so here there is no concept of kind of databases or something. Okay, here there is one table space. We will know databases as table space. So inside one bigger table space, we are creating a number of table inside that only. Okay, so we will see that, don't worry. Now I have to suppose create the table. Create table, some table name. Okay, and student id, student name. Okay, something, and dob date. Okay, so we'll create this table. Table is created. Now what we can do is, uh, we will see, I mean, how to. Now there is no command like this show tables. So how to verify whether the table is created or not? Okay, so there is a command called select. I'm talking about the Oracle, okay, not MySQL. In MySQL, these two commands, show databases, show tables, will work. But in the case of Oracle, we are using table space. Inside the table space, we are creating one table. So database is already created. Yes, so table space is already there. There is no concept of databases here. Okay, it just kind of database is nothing but you are creating a number of directories. Like in MySQL, we are creating one folder called customers, right? Students. Those folder itself, we are calling those folders as a database. Okay, so here there is no folder concept here, there is no directory concept here, or you can say there is no database concept here. Okay, so we are just having one, you can say one e drive, or you can say the table space. Okay, inside the table space or inside that particular drive, okay, directly you just create your table. Okay, so here we can see select. Yes, so select from tab where tab type is table. Okay, where tab type is table. So we can see here. Okay, so we will see here there are multiple tables are already present. Okay, so out of these tables you can find out your table as well. So we will see here. Okay, 1 minute, let me show you. So here okay, we have created students table. Because here I have connected with the Oracle DB through the command prompt. Okay, so it is bit difficult, but if you will connect it through SQL developer, there is one tool, okay, to connect with your database. So in that case you will easily find out your you can easily find out your table. See here, it's the first table. So basically it's a alphabetical order. Okay, so you can see we are, so at last it start from A. Okay, A B C D, then okay, similarly J K L M N O P Q R S. So our table name is student. Okay, so this is how you can see. Now there is nothing inside this table, so there is no data inside it. Got it? So we can start it like this. Now we will exit it. We will see multiple options to connect with DB. So we have seen this is the way. Okay, this is the way SQL plus. Okay, is a way. And here if you will not give anything, if you will just click, if you will just type SQL plus and if you will press enter, it will ask you for the usernames. You will have to enter the username, then password. Okay, so now, so again I'm exiting. So we'll now we'll see uh, SQL plus. If you want to connect in the same line, you can give your username also. Okay, SQL plus, and if you want you can give username is, and password, something like this also you can give. This is also another way of connecting the DB. Okay, connecting with Oracle DB. Okay, and then you can create n number of tables and insert some data. All the remaining commands whatever we have discussed till now, we have discussed both the command. Okay, so you have to just practice. We'll see installation of both the DB MySQL as well as Oracle in a separate class. Okay, that time we'll see how to connect, I mean how to install everything into our system. Yes. No, no, it's I mean it's kind of SQL. Okay, I mean just they have given some name here. Okay, it's not like they are using SQL. I mean they are not using MySQL something. Okay, it's just a name they have given. That's it. That's it. Got it? Okay. So now we will see uh, the morning. Okay, so morning we have seen uh, about few syntaxes. Okay, so few are working into uh, few functions are working into or MySQL and a few functions are working into Oracle. So let's see those functions now. Then we'll start. So there is one function called toDate. Okay, so we will see first. Already we have created the table description of student table. So this is the description, SID number. So now you can observe they are taking the SID as number. I have specified as int, but they have by default taken as number. Okay, and as name as varchar2, date of birth is of type date. Now if I will insert into students table, and student table uh, first column is SID, as name, and DOB. So just wanted to show you how we can enter the date value. And I already told you, okay, suppose if I'm giving SID as 101, as name as some name, and date of birth. Okay, so date of birth inside the MySQL, we were giving how first we were giving year, month, and date, right? If I will try to give here, it will not take that value. What it will say, literal does not match format string. Okay, so the format of the string literal does not match. Okay, so where so you can see here they have mentioned as star. Okay, so this star you can see. Got it? So here there is a problem. So database server is trying to say literal does not match format string. That means string format does not match. String literal format does not match. So you have to give the proper format. Okay. The proper format of date is, first you have to specify date, then month, and then year. Now it will take. Okay. So here you can see not a valid month. Why it is? Check. Okay. Hold on. No headphone. Hold on, please. So like this you can enter the date. Okay, so you'll see select start from students. Okay, so this is the way how you can specify the date inside the uh, Oracle. Okay, let me see if people are saying something. Okay, cool. So any problem here, guys, as of now, up to here? So then, now my requirement is okay. So my requirement is I just want to show you how to use toDate function. Okay, like how we were using str toDate inside the MySQL. Now, if I'm having the date format not like this, okay, I'm having the date format something. Before that, you just use the function called toDate and then try to provide all those values. How? Suppose I'm having 10, 90, comma, and you have to specify that. Okay, so not taking in this way. Okay, now suppose let me just change this. Okay, so now you can enter like this. Select star from students. Okay, so this is how you can use the toDate function also. Okay, now we will see and all rest of the other functions are same, so you can just have a look whatever we have discussed morning in the morning, so you just go through it and try to practice in both the DB. It will be easier. Okay, so we will see the sequence. We have seen the sequence also inside the MySQL. Now we'll see the sequence in Oracle. Okay, so before so we have already seen how to connect with Oracle DB, how to create the table. There is no database concept here. Okay, so, you can assume that database is kind of equivalent to directory or folder. So just we are creating inside the MySQL, but here in my Oracle there is no concept of the directory or folder, or you can say database. You have the table space. Okay, and that's how it is. Inside the table space you have to create multiple tables, and we have seen how to see how many tables are there or something. There is a command select star from tab, where tab is equal to table. Okay, so this is the command that you need to remember from table space. If you want to see how many tables you have created inside the table space, this is the way. Okay, this is the command. Now let me share my screen and then we'll come back again here. So 1 minute. Okay, so say here in Oracle you can create the sequence as per your requirement. Okay, but inside the MySQL you can't do that. In Oracle you can create the sequence as per your requirement. You will have to create an auto increment field with the sequence object. Okay, we'll see how, what I mean, because in MySQL if you want to create sequence there is a way auto increment. Okay, but here if you want to create the same sequence, similar sequence like auto increment field, okay, then you have to create one SQL object, and then you have to define some rules. Okay, what are those rules? So we'll see the syntax of the Oracle. So how we can do it, we'll see. Create sequence, and I have already told you this greater than and less than symbol is for mandatory option. So you have to provide sequence name also. Okay, and see here square bracket stand for optional thing. Okay, so create sequence name. Okay, these all things are optional. Increment by some value. This sequence, whatever you are going to create, has to be incremented by this value. Minimum value, this one. And if you don't want minimum value, you specify no minimum value, no min value. Okay, max, and can say max value also int value. And if you want to specify no max, so no max value. Okay, start with. So these all are like, optional thing. So start with, if you want to start from some specific number, then you can specify here cache. We'll discuss what is cache. If you want to use cache, you have to specify the number of how many numbers you want to generate and cache. Okay, how many number you want to generate and put it inside the cache. And if you don't want cache, you can specify no cache option also. Okay, if you want cycle, you use cycle, otherwise no cycle. We'll see what and all those. Okay, so now here first we will see what is the increment by. So increment by, the default value is 1. If you will define the increment by 1, if you will use increment by option, the default value would be 1. The possible value is non-zero integral value. Okay, if the value is positive, then the value will be generated in ascending order. How it is, you see here. If okay, so if you are specifying the positive value, okay, suppose increment by 2, what does it mean? It will increase, okay, because you have specified plus 2, right? So if it is starting with, let's suppose if it is starting from 1, or maybe it is starting from 101. We'll see how to define this, but let's assume if it is starting from 101, what will be the next value, guys? 103, right? So 105, 106, 7, 109, similarly 111. So because it is incrementing by 2, correct, you can say 2 steps we are moving in forward direction, right? So if the value is positive, this value is positive, right, then the value will be generated in ascending order. So this is the way, in ascending order it will increase the value. But in the case of negative value, the value will be generated in descending order for sequence. Maybe, okay, maybe if I will take increment by -2, okay, if it is incremented by -2, so let's take the same example. If my value is going to start from 101, then what would be my next value? I'm incrementing by -2. What will be my next value, guys? Please respond. Not -1, not 2, Abhinay. Yes, Sagar is correct. 99. Next 97, 95, right? In reverse, I mean in descending order, right? Because you are stepping it out, in you are negating those values, right? So 101, 99, 95, 97, 95, 93, okay, 91, okay. So this is the way you can specify the value as increment. Okay, any doubt into this? Okay, cool. So now we'll see here what is the min value or max value. Okay, so min value and max value is nothing. It will be used to specify the range of the sequence. It will be used to specify the range of the sequence, and by default for ascending sequence the minimum value is 1, and for descending sequence the maximum value is -1. How it is? See, if it is increasing, if it is ascending order, right? So the what should be the minimum balance? I mean, what should be the minimum value? So it should start from 1, right? By default. If you're not, if you're not using start with option, which we will discuss later down the line, you can see start with. But suppose if it is starting from 0 or something, okay. So sequence, if you're starting, if you're creating the sequence for the ascending sequence, ascending order, then which, from which value it should start? From one first value only, right? So 1 for ascending sequence, and so this is the minimum value, right? And -1 is for descending sequence, we'll see, okay. And that will be the maximum value, because max to max it can go up to -1. Okay, all the value should be inside the descending, or let me show you here. In the previous example, 101, 99, 97, 95, 93. So this is the descending sequence, right? So what will be the maximum value? Maximum value in the sense first value. Hmm? What should be the last value here in this? -1, right? It can go up to -1 max. But inside the descending, inside the ascending sequence, the minimum value of this is 0. Not 0, first 1. Got it? Any confusion here, guys? So this is how it is. So we can specify minimum value or maximum value. Okay, minimum, if you are using min value, that means we are talking about ascending sequence. If you are talking, if you are defining max value, that means you're talking about descending sequence. Got it? And we know what is the minimum value in ascending sequence, 1, and what is the maximum value in descending sequence, -1. Clear? Now we'll see what is the start with. So it start with nothing, it will be used to specify the first value, okay, that will be generated by using sequence. So it will be used to specify just such first value, right? From that value onwards the sequence is, or you can say from that value onwards your sequence will start, okay. And we have already seen the default value will be the minimum value for ascending sequence and the maximum value for descending sequence. That means the default value for, sorry, the default value will be my the default value will be 1 for ascending sequence and -1 for descending sequence. Any problem? This syntax we can write, this sentence I can write like this also. See here, so the default value will be 1 for ascending sequence and -1 for descending sequence. Any confusion here, guys? Is that clear? Please respond. So Abhinay is asking, I didn't understand how -1 is the max value. So you can understand, right? So what my question, so my requirement here is, okay. So if I'm talking about descending sequence, if I'm talking about, okay, it should be something like, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Okay, so here similarly, what is the maximum value here? Not 10, sorry. Or you can write like this also, right? Descending and up to -1. So here you can understand like this. Got it? So and inside the ascending sequence, okay, inside the ascending sequence, the minimum value is 1. In ascending sequence, minimum value is 1. So how? So your if I'm talking about the ascending sequence, okay, so minimum value is 1. So from here itself you have to start, at least it should be 1 and go up to infinite. Okay, but inside the descending sequence, whatever the value from here, if you are starting the descending value, it can go up to -1. This is the condition. Got it? So max it can go up to -1. So you can say max up, and it can start at least from 1. So this is the minimum value. Got it? So this is how it is. So we'll see when we'll do some examples, then you will understand better. So start with also clear the default value. So this is also clear, the default value will be 1 for ascending sequence and -1 for descending sequence. Now you can specify the start with value explicitly, but it must be in the range of sequence. Okay, we will see. Suppose your sequence is from 10 to, or you can say from 100 to 500. Your sequence will generate generate the value between 100 to 500. So that means your start with value must be lying in between this range. It should not be 99. Your sequence cannot start from 99 then, because 99 will not come under this range. It will always, okay, it will always start from 100 or 101 or anything. Okay, but again it should not end with also 101. Okay, 501. So because here we are discussing about only start with, so just concentrate here, because we cannot start our sequence with 99. Okay, because our sequence can generate the value between 100 to 500, and if you will start the your sequence from 99, so you are breaking this condition, right? You're because this value is not coming inside this range. Okay, now so clear, right, this thing? After this we'll see start with value will be used only once, just to instantiate your sequence object. Got it? Start with value will be used only once. That means is, okay, I just want, while creating the sequence object, okay, it wants some initial value. If you're not specifying any start with option, and if you're not putting any boundary, that means by default it will start from 1. Correct? But if you want to specify some number, okay, whatever it can be, but whatever number you are specifying in start with, so that value must be comes under the range of that particular sequence. The range, how to define the range? We can define the range through min val and max val. We'll see that, and then we can define start with value also. Okay, So start with value will be used only once. The sequence will be generated. Okay, and once the sequence is generated, for next cycle minimum value will be used. Okay, we'll see what is cycle. See here. So cache as I have told you, cache, if you want to define some cache, okay, so it is just to store some predefined, you can say predefined values. Okay, so it will just create, prepare some values and put it inside some temporary memory. Okay, that is known as cache. So once all the values will be used, okay, and if you are using cycle option, okay, and if no cycle is present and the value is there inside the cache, okay, all the value will be used. Once all the value will be once the all values is used, immediately your cache will be cleared if you are specifying no cycle. But if you are specifying cycle, that means whatever the value you are generating, okay, whatever the value you are generating, once these value will be finished inside the cache, okay, immediately you can say the next cycle minimum value will be used. Got it? The next cycle the minimum value of the cache is used. Okay, so this is the way. Okay, this is the theoretical thing that we will see later in detail. When we will use some example, you will understand better. So here you can see it will generate, so you can say it will generate immediately, okay, when the request for value or initially the value will be generated and will be stored in the cache memory. If you are using no cache, then the value will be generated whenever it is required. Okay, so there are two options, cache and some number. So if you are specifying cache 20, that means you are going to store 20 values inside this cache. Okay, but no cache means I don't want to use cache. That means is every time whenever you will insert the record or something, whenever it is required to generate the value, next value, that time, okay, the immediately that time value will be created. Okay, for your requirement the value will not be created in advance and put it into the cache, because you are not using no cache option. That's why the value will be generated based on the requirement. Okay, but my requirement is, okay, so I want to generate some values and put it inside the cache. Okay, and uh, then you can specify cache option also. Okay, so it will generate immediately when the request for value or initially the value will be generated and will be stored inside the cache memory. If you are using no cache, then the value will be generated whenever it is required. Cycle option is also very simple. Cycle option is to used cycle option is used to regenerate the value. Got it? So regenerate the value by using the sequence. So once the limit of the sequence will be reached, okay, immediately again new cycle will be started. Got it? So we'll see. When the sequence is recycled, then in the case of ascending sequence, it will start from minimum value, and in the case of descending sequence, it will start from maximum value. Clear? Okay, suppose we have created uh, let's suppose we have created 20 values. Okay, 20 values, something like 101, 104, 107, 110. Okay, some 20 values. Now this is the ascending sequence, right? If it is the ascending sequence, and suppose last value, what will be the last value? So whatever the last value is there, okay, so maybe you have utilized all 20 values. Okay, you have utilized all 20 values. Now this because you have used cache option and cycle option also, you have used cycle. That means Once the 20 values are finished, again these 20 values has to be generated. Okay, so at the time of generation, the next cycle, okay, next 20 value whenever it will generate. So that time it will check what is the minimum value for this sequence. This sequence is in ascending order. What is the minimum value? But not one. So similarly, it will create 20 values, again put it into the same cache as long as you are using it. Okay, once each values of this particular cycle, or you can say each value of this particular cache is used, then it will regenerate all those value. In the case of ascending order, in the case of ascending sequence, it will take the minimum value, and in the case of descending sequence, it will take the maximum value. Okay, so here, so what is the note? There is note. So if total value of sequences is less than 20, suppose if the total values of the sequence is less than 20, then while using the cycle, you have to use the cache or no cache option. But if the total values of sequence is more than 20, then no need to use cache or no cache option. So here one thing that you need to remember is, okay, so here we have seen it, if you are using cache option, okay, and if you are using cache option with the size 18, 19 or 20, then there is no problem, you don't have to specify cycle option. Okay, so here if the total values of sequence is less than 20, then while using cycle you have to use cache or no cache option. So inside your cache size is 20, then you have to use cache and no cache option. But if the cache size is less than 20, sorry, but if the total values of sequence is more than 20, okay, then you no need to use cache and no cache option, because the values are more than 20. I don't know how many, so we will not use cache option, because in that case our memory will be utilized. Okay, that cache will, as long as your database server will run, your cache also will run. So I don't want to waste that memory. I know if I want to use only 20, till 20, if you are having the 20 values, you can go for cache option. Otherwise, if those values are more than that, you don't have to specify cache and no cache option. Okay, so this is how we will see. Now we'll see how to create the, you know, how to create the sequence in the case of Oracle. So we have already seen. So this is the syntax, and for example, you can see create sequence, some sequence name, minimum value 50, start with 101, maximum value 300, increment by 5. Okay, this is one sequence. Another sequence here is create sequence, some sequence name, minimum value 1, start with 1 and increment by 1. I haven't specified any maximum value here. Okay, and catch is 10. Any problem? Right? So we'll see some examples now. Okay, so let me just share that screen. Okay, now everyone are able to see my screen? Can you quickly respond? Bobalan, I think you're some internet issue at your end. Just check it. Yeah. Sagar is saying yes. And Kanak is also saying yes. Okay. Okay, cool. So I'm getting response from everyone. Now we'll see few examples. Okay. Start from beginning. Okay, so now let me connect to the DB again. Okay, SQL plus, and username is system, so you can write like this also, SQL plus system, and then it will ask for the password. Okay, so I connected with this DB now. So here we will see it. Let me just show you some example now. Okay, so first we will create a table. Which table we will create now? Create, before that, let me, okay, create table student1. Okay, and I will take the column name serial number is of type int, and student ID is of type again int, and you can specify as primary key also. Name varchar. Suppose it's the table that I am creating here. Okay, cool. Table is created. You can check the description here. Okay, so you can see here in the SID column I have specified as primary key, so null is not allowed. That's why not null it is showing. Okay, and this is our primary key column. Now I want to insert some data into the student table, and my requirement is, okay, I don't have to provide the value for serial number and student ID. I just want to enter some name and other details. Suppose as of now I'm having only name column. Maybe there is a chance that I'm having more columns. Okay, I will provide each and every information. Okay, but I will not provide the serial number and student ID. It should be automatically generated by the DB and store inside it, inside database, right? So now we will first create the sequence, because if you want to generate some sequence, if you want to allocate some dynamic value into this, okay, inside the serial number and SID, for that the sequence is required. Now we will create the sequence, create sequence, okay, sequence 1. If I will create the sequence, okay, 1 sequence is created. Now if I will insert into student 1 table, okay, and you can use values. Okay, now I want to provide the serial number. Okay, I want to provide the serial number. So sequence, I have generated sequence 1 dot next val comma, and what about SID? Sequence 1 dot current val. Okay, and comma name, some student name. Okay, maybe let me insert this value. Okay, the value is inserted. You can check it here now. What is there inside this table? Okay, serial number is 1, and aside is 1. The next value, so you can see the first value, I mean the first value of your sequence 1, it will always start from 1. Okay, it will start from 1 and it's a ascending sequence. We are not providing anything, so just don't bother about ascending and descending. Just see here, it's a kind of sequence, so by default it will start from 1. Okay, and we know the next value is 1, because as per the rule it should start from 1. So the next value is 1, and what is the current value inside, that is also 1. Got it? So we will see what is the difference. We'll see. Okay, now we will create one more sequence. Create sequence 2. Okay, create sequence 2. Now I want to see what is the current value and what is the next value. Okay, so current value, if you will choose, it will show you error. Select sequence 2 dot current value. Let me see here, somebody is saying something. Okay, nobody is saying. Okay, fine. Current value from, this is the syntax that you need to remember, dual. Okay, there is one table called dual. There, whenever any value will be generated, it will store inside the dual. So I need to take the result from dual table. Select sequence 2 dot current value from dual. Okay, now what it is saying, sequence 2 current value is not yet defined in this session. Got it? So sequence 2 current value is not yet defined. Now we will see, because current value is not yet defined. So before, so when it will define, once you will create, once you will call this next value. Now you are asking for next value, right? What is the next value? Next value is 1. So now you can check what is the current value, that is 1. Correct? So next value is 1 and current value is 1. Now what is the next value? Next value is 2, but still, what is the current value? That is also 2. Okay, so this is how you can specify. Now we will see one by one. Okay, so we have created 2 sequences anyway, and we have stored some record also. Select star from. So there is only one record. Now I'll create one more sequence called sequence 3. Okay, increment by 0. Okay, so now you have to tell me, it is valid or invalid? Guys, I want quick response from you. That is valid or invalid?
So invalid, sir.
Okay, what about the others? Ullas saying invalid, and Kanak saying invalid. Okay, so most of you are, I think, got it. So because we are not, providing any value, any incremental value, right? If you're incrementing by 0 means what? You're not incrementing at all. That is the reason you cannot increment by 0. Always it should be positive integer, non-zero integer it should be. It is
How
not
about
positive also, positive and negative both. You can specify -1, -2 or positive value also, but it should be non-zero integral. Got it? Okay, fine. Now we will see. Okay, what next sequence we will create a sequence, but we will increase by 3. Got it? Create this in sequence. So sequence is now created. So now, can anybody tell what is the first value here? Can anybody tell what is the first value? 1. Okay, let me see here. Sequence, select sequence 3 dot, which value we should access first, next value or current value? Guys, tell me. Current value. Okay, if I will say current value from dual, okay, it is saying invalid. You cannot access the current value because still it is not initiated, right? To initiate that, always you make sure your call, you have to use next value first. Okay, so select sequence 3 dot next val from dual, and first value is 1. Okay, first value is 1, and then you can see the current value also. I'm sorry, the typo here. Okay, so now we can use insert into table name is student1 values. Okay, and I'm passing sequence 3 dot, you can say current val. Okay, and sequence 3 dot next val comma name, some name I'm using. Okay, now can anybody tell which values are inserted for serial number and which values are inserted uh, for SID, student ID? Please respond. For serial number, which value inserted into the table? Tell me, guys. Respond quickly, please. Huh? Tell me, what will be inserted for serial number? See, I'll tell you. So here you can see this is the serial number, okay, and this is the student ID. My question is, what value is inserted here and what value is inserted here? Can anybody tell? Current is 1, okay, and next is 2. But all we have already specified, if you remember, while creating this sequence, okay, it we have used this value, this thing also, right? Increment by 3, correct? Yes. We will see here. So select star from student 1. Serial number is 1. I mean second record is 4, and again student is ID is also 4. Why? Because at a time, if you are using sequence, okay, and if you are using next value also, okay, so that time it will take the current value only. Let me try it. If I will not give sequence value here, okay, and if I will specify serial ID, suppose something, okay, clear. So current value still is 4, but if I am using next value also, then that time I'm sorry, the values are inserted 7 and 7. Okay, So that's how we can define. Now we will see the sequence for. We will create one more sequence. Create sequence 5, or suppose 4, increment by -3, right? Increment by -3. Now my question is, what is the next value and current value here? Be careful. Just see what is the increment value. Increment by -3. First of all, it will start from, this is a new sequence. It's not older sequence, right? This is the new sequence. Why you are talking about 7? Right, 7 is sequence 3, right? But this time I'm creating new sequence. So which value will be there? First value. What is the first value? So let's see here. If I will insert into table student 1, okay, values. Now I will write sequence 4 dot, okay, current val, sequence 4 dot next val, okay, and some name. Okay, now if I will insert, record is inserted. So here you can see, correct? Any doubt here, guys? Okay, so like this we can, and what will be the next value? Because in increment y value you have given -3. That means you want to create a sequence which will always negate the value by 3. Okay, if we want to negate the value by 3, first of all this sequence will start from -1. Okay, if it will start from -1, what would be the next value? Guys, what would be the next value? Yes, yes. Okay, so it will start from -1. What would be the next value? If I will insert this same record again, okay, by changing the name a bit, what would be the next value now? If I will insert here, Ullas, just be careful. Increment by -3. How come it is positive? Any confusion to anybody now? Yes. So how it will be? -1 plus -3. How much it is? -4. Is that clear? Okay. So if it is clear, then we can move. So now we will see min value and max value. Now we'll create one sequence called create sequence 6, suppose, okay, and increment by 3. Okay, that is clear. Increment by 3. Now I will specify, we have already seen increment by 3, so it will start from 1. And if I will say, if it is increment by -3, it will start from -1. Clear? So here I am just defining increment by 3, and minimum value you can see minimum value, okay, is 7. What does it mean exactly? I just want to understand. What does it mean? Because in the case of ascending sequence, what is the minimum value? Already we have seen 1. In the case of descending order, what is the maximum value? -1. Okay. So here in this line, create sequence 6, increment by 3, minimum value 7. Instead of 1, now I am defining as 7. So which, no, Ullas, you're not getting it right. See here, let me just tell you here. Okay. So if suppose if uh, so we already know for ascending sequence, okay, it will start from always, it starts from 1, right, by default, and the 1 is, we know 1 is minimum value, correct. Now for the same sequence, create sequence, okay, sequence name, increment by 3. It's okay, that means it is ascending sequence. Now if I am giving positive value, that means it is in ascending sequence. If I am giving negative value, that means it is descending sequence, right? Increment by 3. And earlier, what is the minimum value here for ascending sequence? If I will specify only this, okay, then it will start from, quickly just tell me, it will start from where? 1. But if suppose if we are defining here is, okay, minimum value 7, what does it mean? Now it will start, instead of starting from 1, it will start from 7. Clear? So now you'll see here, sorry, so let me just close that. Okay, now we'll see. Okay, so we'll check here, sequence 6 we have created. Okay, I want to see the current value and next value. Select sequence 6 dot next val from integer, correct? Any confusion to anybody now? Okay, so now one more sequence I will define. What is the current value? Now we'll see current value also, it is same only, 7 only. Now I will create one more sequence, sequence 7 suppose, and this time as I am using the increment by value as 3, that means it's a positive sequence, or you can say ascending sequence. Minimum value is 7, and here I am specifying maximum value is suppose 20. Okay, so what will happen? Now we will check sequence 7 dot next value. What is the next value? What it will print, guys? Hey Abnay, are you confused? You're not understanding, or how it is? If you are having any doubt, why you are telling this will, it will print 10? How come it is? First value, what is the first value here? Minimum value. And what is the minimum value we specified? 7. If we have not specified 7, that means what it is? It will start from 1. Okay, not 10. It will start from 7 now, and next value is 10, 13, 16, 19, and then it is error. What is the error? Now sequence.next value exceeded the maximum and cannot be instantiated. That object is now destroyed. Got it? Sequence is the object, already I told you. So this object is having few values into it. Okay, and those values are from 7 to 20. That we have specified the range. Okay, one more question. I am having one more doubt. Okay, now let me just, okay, one more syntax I will tell you. If I want to delete this sequence, so there is a command called delete, drop sequence and sequence name. Clear? I will drop the sequence. Now I will create the sequence again. Create sequence, sequence, and sequence name. Minimum value is, and before that I will increment by 3, and I'm not specifying the minimum value, I am specifying the maximum value. Now guys, can you please tell me what would be the first value? Yes, so the first value would be, 1. Next value, can you please tell me next value, Abhinay? What would be the next value? 3. How come? 1 plus 3. Okay, then it will 4. It will become 4. Now what will be the next value? 4 plus 3. So next value is 7. 7 plus 3, 10. 10 plus 3, 13. 13 plus 3, 16. 16 plus 3, 19. And what is the maximum value I have provided? 20. That means this is the boundary I have provided. The boundary is 20. And now it is the error. Sequence.next value exceeds max value and cannot be instantiated. That object is destroyed. Got it? So this is how we can define. Now we will drop, and okay. So I think everyone is clear now. Okay, cool. So now I'll ask you one more thing. Create sequence. These are very important things, and you need to, very careful about it. Sequence. This time I'm creating the sequence 8. Okay. Increment by 4. The minimum value is 9. The maximum value is 27, suppose. Okay, this sequence is created. Now Abhinay, you tell me which is the first value. If I will write select, okay, sequence 8 dot next val from dual. Okay, what it should print? Which value should come now? Abhinay, I think you're not getting it. Why it is 13? Always sequence start from minimum value. Yes. So minimum value we have already specified as 9, correct? So it should start from 9. What should be the next value now, Abhinay? 9 plus 4, 13. Then 17, then 21, then 25, and then error. Any confusion now? Clear? We will create one more sequence. Create sequence. Okay. Sequence 9. This time increment by 3, and minimum value is -12. Okay. So if I will create this sequence what would be my first value? Can anybody tell? No? Yes. Avina, you are right. So always it will start from minimum value. And what is the minimum value here? Minus 12. Clear? So we will see sequence 9 dot next value minus 12. What would be the next value now? Minus 12 plus 3. No, minus 12 plus 3. It would be minus 9. Now you see here minus 6, minus 3, 0, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. It will go like this. But you change the minimum value instead of 1 you have changed the minimum value from 1 to minus 12. So it instead of starting from 1, it will start from minus 12 onward, and it will create, because it's an ascending sequence. Okay, as we have seen here, you can see here the increment value is positive. That means it's an ascending sequence. If it is ascending sequence, instead of starting from 1, it will start from minus 12, but from minus 12 onward you increase the value by 3. If you will increase the value by 3, minus 9, minus 6, minus 3, 0, 3, 6, 9, 12, similarly. Any confusion to anybody, please ask. Yes, you're right. If increment by minus 3, that means it will become descending sequence. If it is descending sequence, then by default, okay, so it should start from minus 12, then next value would be minus 15. Okay, let me try this also. Create sequence, sequence underscore 9, suppose. Okay, and we will increase by minus 3. Okay, what would be the first value? Be careful. What would be the first value? Mm-hmm. No. Why it is? I have already told you, in the case of descending sequence, from where it should start? From maximum value. Instead of minimum value, it should start from maximum value. Since it is a descending sequence, it should, instead of starting from minimum value, it will start from maximum value. And what is the maximum value by default? Minus 1. So that's why it will start from minus 1, and it will go up to minus 12. Let me see. What is the next value? Minus 4. What is the next value? Minus 7. What is the next value? Minus 10. What is the next value? It will give error. Got it? Because already next value goes below the minimum value what you have specified and cannot be instantiated. Correct? Any confusion to anybody now? You have to remember the sequence, whether the sequence is negative sequence or positive sequence. If it is positive sequence, it should start from minimum value. Instead of using the term ascending sequence and descending sequence, I am using the term as positive sequence and negative sequence. If it is positive sequence, okay, if you are seeing that if it is incrementing by positive value, that means it is positive sequence. Or ascending sequence, that means it should start from minimum value. But by seeing the value of increment value as minus some, if it is negative value in increment y option, that means you should understand that this is the negative sequence or descending sequence. It means it should start from maximum value. Okay, and by default the maximum value is minus 1. Clear? Okay, now I will create one more sequence. Create sequence 10. Okay, and increment by minus 4. Can anybody tell what is the first value? If I will create the sequence, what would be the first value here? Yes, you're right. So here, instead of minus underscore 9, let me just change it to 10. The first value is minus 1. Next value is minus 1 plus minus 4. That means it is minus 5. Got it? Now, I'm creating one more sequence, sequence 11, and I'm specifying uh, max value 17. Okay, 17, and min value is 5. What will be the first value here? Can anybody tell? What will be the first value? Please respond. No. Yes.
One, one, sir.
Not 1 also. Because
Minus 4 plus 5.
no. See, minus
Ah,
4.
5, sir. 5 is the minimum value, starting value.
No, it will start from 17. Minimum value is 5. It doesn't matter. Why? Because increment by minus 4. That means it's a negative sequence. If it is negative sequence, it will start from maximum value. By default, maximum value is 1. But I have already overridden the maximum value by 17, right? So that one is
Fine.
now we are replacing one value from 17. So from 17 onward, this sequence will start. Got it? And it will go up to, guys, tell me, it will go up to 5. Okay, it will
Yes,
no,
sir. Yeah.
it will not go beyond 5.
Okay.
See here. Any confusion now, guys?
No, sir.
Okay. So see, okay. Now let me create one more sequence. So pretty interesting thing, right? Sequence 12. Increment by minus 4. By writing this line itself, by writing this increment by minus 4 itself, you should understand everything. Okay, increment by minus 4.
Yes, sir.
So that is the
It will
negative.
take by maximum value.
So max value is I'm giving is 17, and min value I am giving as minus 23. Okay. Now can anybody tell what is the first value?
17.
Yes. So the I'm sorry. Let me change the sequence name here. The first value is 17. Second value is 13. Similarly, it will go up to
Minus
minus
23.
23. Guys, clear? So, okay. Let me take one more example here. So, okay. Let me instead of create, okay. Let me create one more sequence number 5, and starting from, and then if I will specify is, okay. Now, what should be the first value? What I mean, if I'm creating this sequence, okay, are you able to create this sequence or not? My first question is this. Yes,
Yes, sir. We can. No, we cannot.
yes, because the range, because you are starting from 17 itself, okay, and how can you go beyond 7? I mean, because you are starting from 17, and since it is a negative sequence, so you have to always specify the minimum value always should be less than 17 only. It should not be, it cannot exceed the 17. It will start from 17 and it will negate the value from by -1 onward. Okay, minus, I mean 17, 16, 15. Similarly, because it depends on -4, increment value by -4, that means 17. Then next value is 13, next value is 9. Similarly, it will not go, it will never go to 23. That's why what it's saying, it is saying minimum value must be less than maximum value. And what is the maximum value? Is 17. So minimum value is 23. Minimum value always must
Then
be
less
less
than
than
seven.
max value. Clear?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So let,
So it is descending order. So we have to start from maximum value to minimum value, right?
yes. Okay. Okay. So I think now everybody is now comfortable with the sequences. Okay. So we will move further, and now we will see what is the start with option. So we'll see here.
Sir, one doubt. Previous like 100 or 500, 100 to 500. Okay, so 500 is the max value or min value?
It depends which kind of sequence it is. If it is the sequence, negative sequence, okay, and if you are giving the 100 as max value, then the 100 would be the first value. And if it is the ascending sequence, means positive sequence, and if you are providing min value as 100, so this is again the first value for ascending sequence. So it depends on the which type
So,
of sequence it is. Always you have to remember, in the case of ascending sequence, minimum value is 1. In the case of descending sequence, maximum value is -1 by default. Okay. If you want to
so
change this value, mhm,
can I direct put can I not direct put 100 to till 500
yes,
without
you can put, if you want to create the if you want to create that kind of sequence, create sequence. Okay, sequence, suppose 13 maybe. Let me just create 0. Okay, sequence 0. Now I want to increase the, okay, so you want from 100 to 500, that means it is a positive sequence, right? If it is positive
yes,
sequence, and if it depends how you want to jump from 100 to 500, you want to jump by 2 steps or you want to jump by 3 steps, 1 step, it depends. Suppose I'm jumping from 1 by 1. Okay, so create sequence 0, increment by 1, that means it is a positive value, it's okay. Now it's a positive sequence. So for positive sequence, what is the minimum value? Minimum value is 1, but I don't want to start from 1, I want to start from,
100,
so
100,
minimum value you have to override by 100. Okay, and you want to go up to,
500.
now clear? If you will create like
Yes.
this, okay, now you can check, select sequence 0 dot next value from, I'm sorry, next val, no, instead of next value, next val only, 100. What is the next? 101, 102, 103, 104. Any confusion now?
No, no, no. Okay, clear.
Let me see here. Mhm. Okay, so nobody is having any doubt. Cool. Now we will see what is the use of um what is the use of start with option. Okay. So now everybody understood how to define the range. Like similarly, like how Abhinay asked from 100 to 500, or my range is from 27 to minus 62. If my range is from 27 to minus 62, you have to think and you have to create the sequence. Okay, suppose create sequence 00. Okay, and I want to create the range from 61 to, it should go up to minus 27. Okay, that means it is a negative sequence. My requirement is from 67 to minus 27. That means it is a negative sequence. It's a descending sequence. If it is descending sequence, which value will be the first value? Maximum value. So first we will see increment by minus 1. That means it's a negative sequence. It's okay. Now it should start, the range of this is, by default it will start from where? It will start from minus
Plus
1.
one.
But I don't want to start from minus 1. I want to start from
62.
67, right? And till where you want to go? I want to go till minus 27. Okay. Now, if you understood this thing, now my requirement is here, my special requirement is here is, my boundary is from 67 to minus 27, but I don't want to start from 67 onward. I want to start from 50. Okay, in this case you can go with start with option, start with 50. Okay, then what will be the first value now?
50. 50.
Yes, cool. I think you are now understood everything. So first value is 50 and next value is 49, and it will go up to minus 27. Okay, so we'll see a few examples of start with now. So if you got this requirement, so start with option is very useful. Create sequence.
Sequence.
First you have to always define the boundary, and once the boundary is specified, you can use the start with option. If you want to customize your requirement, you want to start, instead of starting from the boundary point, you want to start from some specific point, you can define with start with. But remember this thing, in the previous this example here, I am starting from 50. Got it? I'm starting from 50. I cannot start from 70. I cannot start from 69. I cannot start from 68. It cannot be start with value cannot go beyond the range. Your range is from 67 to minus 27. Okay, the value must be in between this range only. Yes, you can start from negative also. Okay, you can start from negative also. What is the problem? If I want to start, instead of starting from 50, I want to start from minus 1. I want to start from minus 2 till minus 27. Got it? My range is different and my start with value is different. Okay, cool. So create sequence, sequence number 13. And I will increment by 3. I will ask you guys now minimum value for start with 2. Okay, minimum value is 4, so it will start from 4. Can I do this? What will be the first value? Can anybody tell?
Yeah, 4 is the minimum value.
No, first thing is you
4.
should understand, can I create the sequence or not? Then why
Not
you,
to,
if it is
yeah, we can create. We can create.
okay, okay, anybody else? Kanak,
We can create, sir.
what's your thought?
There is no end. Method.
This sequence will not be created. No,
Not
because It's a positive sequence. As you can see, increment value by 3. It's a positive sequence. That means minimum value is 4 you are specifying. That means it should start from 4. Correct. The
Yeah.
range of your sequence is starting from 4 onwards, but you are giving start with value as 2. How come it is
Two.
possible? It's the same example
It is
previously I
not
have
possible.
discussed here, right? 67 and 20 minus 27 is the boundary. You cannot go beyond this boundary. Similarly here, it will start from 4. Your boundary is 4. It will start from 4 onward, but you are specifying start with value by 2. So how come it is possible, right? Any confusion to anybody?
No.
Yes. So that's how it is. Now we'll create one more sequence. Yes. We'll create one more sequence. 14. Increment by 3. Minimum value 4. Start with value by 7. This will be fine. It looks fine, right? It will always, what will be the first value now?
Four.
Okay.
Four.
Anybody else? Sagar is saying 7.
No, sir. Seven is the starting value.
Yeah, be careful always. Ullah saying 7. Okay. So it should start, it will start from 7 onwards because you are in within this boundary. Now start with value is 7. So minimum value is 4, but start with value is 7.
7.
Clear? Now we'll see one more sequence. Sequence 15, and increment value is minus 4 this time. Be careful. Okay. And maximum value is 7. Okay, cool. Start with 15. Okay.
Error.
So what I mean, what will be the first value now?
Error, sir.
Okay. What about others? Tell me, guys. Okay. Mhm. You cannot create the sequence itself because this start with value 15 is out of range, right? Your boundary is still 7 only. From 7 onward, you're going to start, right? So it should be lesser than 7. Always remember this because your boundary is, because it's a negative sequence. If it is a negative sequence, it will start from 7 onward because maximum value you are overriding by 7. By default, maximum value is minus 1. You are overriding by 7. It will start from 7, right? But starting with 15 means is this 15 value is not at all existing into this particular range. It is out of range, right? So that's why you cannot do so. Now one more sequence let me create. See, these are very important things that, and you must, be careful. So now this time,
Sir,
time.
my query is hello. My
Mhm.
previous query is 3 min value 4 start with 7. Okay, print 7. Then how to print 7, sir? Sir, I some doubt, little doubt.
Now what is the problem here? In this
How to print 7? Earlier, previous,
in this example,
like
right?
3. Yes, yes, yes. Upper, upper wala.
Okay. Which one? This one.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh,
So here 7 only
uh,
printing now. What is the problem?
yes.
So your doubt
How?
is how it is, right?
Yes.
Yes. So here you see. See, remember this increment by 3. That means it's a positive sequence.
Yes.
And what is the default minimum value? Default minimum value
Default
1.
minimum value is 1,
But you are overriding with 4.
4,
That means you are starting from 4.
4.
Okay, because your range is from 4. Your range is here in this sequence. Your range is from 4 onwards, right? You are going on
Yes.
from 4 onward, but I don't want to start from 4. Anyway, it is my range. It's okay, I'm happy with that, but I want to start from 7. What is the problem in that? Correct.
Okay. Okay.
So
So start with
that is the
7.
actual use of start with.
Okay.
Got it? Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
here, same here, you understand. Now try to understand here. Increment by -4, maximum value 7, start with 5. So now according to you, Abhinay, what will be the first value now? If you understood, now you can answer this. Increment by -4, maximum value 7, start with 5. From which will be the first value? What is the first value now?
First value is 15. Where, sir? Uh, oh, -4, 7 start. 5.
Yes. So we'll see here. So next value. My boundary is starting from 7. It's okay. Okay, since it is a negative sequence, it will start from 7, it will go further and it will try to negate each step. Okay, but I don't want to start from 7, I want to start from 5. Okay, what is the next value? 1. What is the next value now? -3,
-3.
-7. Correct? So this is how you can specify the sequence. Start with option. Okay, any confusion? Increment by min value, max value, start with. If you don't have any confusion, then only you can move further for cache now, if you don't have any problem. Guys, any problem? I've been saying no. Okay, cool. What about others? Okay,
No.
everybody is saying no, no, no. Okay, cool. Good. So now we'll move and we'll see the cache option. Okay, so now this time we will create the sequence. Create sequence number 17, increment by 5. Increment by 5. Okay, and I want to catch 3 values. Okay, so what is the use of this cache? Now everybody can understand what is the use. That means increment by 5. Okay, so if I will see here, what will be the first value here? What will be the first value? Hey guys, what happened? By default, what is the minimum value? 1. So first value is 1 only because it's a positive sequence, right? First 1 and 6 and then 11, right? And what is the next? 16. Okay, so but the cache option is specifying here is, so how the cache will work. So 3 values. Okay, so these 3 values, 1, 6 and 11, these value will be stored inside the cache. Okay, as soon as as soon as you are creating this sequence by this line itself, once you will hit enter, okay, immediately it will prepare one cache and put it these 3 value into that cache. Okay, and those 3 value you can access anytime. Why it is important? Because sometime my application, because here you cannot understand, but the catch meaning is here is ready made 50. Suppose here I have specified 3, I can specify some numbers also, but those ready made value we can create it and we can store it inside the cache, so it will not take much time to create the sequence at the time of inserting some data. Okay, whenever we will use that time, already the value is present inside the cache, we can take it from there itself. instead of generating the next value every time, the value will be created automatically and stored inside the cache. Got it? This is the use. Now if you don't want to use cache option, you can just define as no cache like this. Okay, we will see. So 18, sequence number 18 and no cache option. Okay, and if you will specify cache as 1, okay, this is invalid because uh, so one value, why should we store only one value? Okay, it should be always greater than 1. Okay, so number of the value to catch must be greater than 1. It makes sense, right? For one value only, why you are storing, why you want to store that value inside the cache? You can directly use whenever it is required instead of putting inside the cache. It should be always greater than 1. Okay, now we will see what is the use of cycle and no cycle. So we have already seen cache and no cache. Now we will see cycle and no cycle. Okay, create sequence number 20. Okay, increment by 3. Okay, default and min value is 4. Start with 7. Okay, and maximum value is 24. Guys, can you tell me what is the first value, or can we create the sequence or not? First of all,
7.
okay, yes, so first value is 7. Okay, first value is 7. Now so instead of this sequence number 20, I will create one more sequence called 21, and I can specify no catch and cycle. Okay, no cache and cycle sequence is created. So what does it mean exactly? What does it mean exactly? No cache means you don't want to store inside the cache. Okay, you don't want to use cache option at all. Okay, and cycle means is you want to see, if you are specifying the cache. Okay, and suppose if you are specifying cache 10, so that means 10 values you are going to store inside the cache. And if you are using cycle also with this, that means is always for whenever 10 values are finished, immediately you create new 10 values and put it into the cache again. So this will be the cycle actually. So okay, so if you want to make this as cycle, you have to specify as cycle. But if you don't want to use cycle also, you can specify no cycle. Okay,
So
create.
what is the use of catch cycle, sir?
Yeah, so cache means 20 values. Suppose 20 values, or how many values you want to catch it, you cache here. And then if you are using cycle means, so what? So first of all, the next, suppose 20 value you stored already, suppose, and 20 values are used also. Now there is no value inside the cache, correct? What about 21st value? So it will, if you are using cycle option, okay, then again it will start from beginning. Got it? And next 20 value will be generated and put it into the same cache. That is the use of cache and cycle. Okay, clear?
It is only for fixed for 20 values, right?
Sorry,
Catch is only related for the 20, right?
cache is related to optimization. Okay, cache if you are using, it will be just if you want to optimize your query, in that case we can use. Okay, let me just create
Yeah.
one more. 22 increment y minus 4, max value is 7, start with 5, and min value is minus 15, and no cache cycle. Okay, the meaning of this is simple. Can you tell me what is the first value?
Then first value is 7. Sorry, 5. 5 is the 5 first value.
Yeah, so somebody is asking cache is memory for immediate save and access. Yes, and save and
5.
access, what you want to save? Your cache value, your sequence value, sorry. So some sequence, sequence value will be generated and put it inside the cache, okay, without using it. Okay, if you are not using cache, so whenever you will use it, that time the value will be generated. But if you are using cache, so immediately whenever you will press enter here, immediately as soon as the sequence will create, immediately it will prepare the number of how many number you specified with cache option, that many number of sequence values will be generated and stored inside the cache. Okay, and if you want to utilize a cycle, you define the option as cycle and no cycle. It depends on your requirement. Okay, so we will create. So the first value of the sequence is 5. Similarly, it will go up to minus 15 because it's a negative sequence, but we are not using no cache. Okay, we are specifying no cache option. That means we are not using cache. So as whenever you will use this value, whenever you will use the next value of the sequence 22, that time only the value will be generated. Okay, that time only the value will be generated. But if I'm saying here, instead of no cache, I'm using cache. Okay, so you have to specify the how many number of values you want to generate. Suppose if I want to generate 30 values. Okay, let me change the name of the sequence. Okay, so okay, so what it is saying, the number to catch must be less than one cycle. Okay, and the cycle size, the cycle value is 20, so always it should be, you know, less than 20. What is the problem? Okay, it must be less than one cycle. Check. So here, if the total value of sequence is less than 20, if the total number of sequence is less than 20, then while using cycle option, you have to use cache and no cache option. Okay, if the number of sequence less than 20. So here the number of sequence less than 2019. Okay, then you have to use cache or no cache option. Okay, so I'm using cache option. Cycle, let me just log 9. and then you have to use cache. Mhm. Okay, okay, let me change here. Cache file and cycle. Okay, so this sequence is created. Okay, why not? Why I'm not able to specify? Okay, why? I think I mean, anybody got the problem here? What was the problem earlier? Can anybody tell? What was the problem? Why I was not able to specify 15, 18, 20, 19? Why it is? Yes, 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 yes. You're right. So because this sequence can generate, okay, can generate only few values. It will not generate 15, 18 or 19 values. Okay. If you will specify here, instead of 15, okay, if we will specify minus 125, and then if I am specifying cache size as 15, then it is able to generate 15 value and put it into the cache. So okay, so now let me just change this name. Okay, I think you got it, because now I think you understand also why we are getting the error. Because immediately, as soon as you're creating this sequence, immediately it will try to generate all those value and put it into the cache, but those value it is not able to generate. That's why it was giving error. Got it? So now this sequence is created. Clear to everybody? Let me just add few points here. Invalid. Okay, and yes, okay. Hmm. So, and one more thing that at last that you need to remember is, okay, let me just share this screen. So everybody is clear right here? So if you are clear, then we can share that screen. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, so now we will see a few questions, and then uh, so here you remember here is, if you are using the sequence for any primary key column, then you should not use cycle option for that sequence. Why it is? Because inside the cache, suppose if you are generating 18 values, and it is starting from 1, maybe starting from 1012 to 118. These 18 value we have stored inside one cache, inside the cache. Okay, and your cache is full. So again, if you used cycle option, okay, if you use cycle option, that means again it has to create the 18 next. It will create same 18 values and put it inside the cache. Same again 18 values it will create, and the value of those is again from 101 to 118 with cycle option, correct? So these value, if we will try to insert these value again for primary key column, these values are duplicates. So these value are duplicates. So these value you cannot insert. That's why if you are using the sequence for any primary key column, then you should not use cycle option for that sequence. Okay, clear? So now these are few interview questions. I think now you must answer these. My requirement is displays the total number of student. Okay, so this is the query. Display the total number of student, select count and star from student. Display the total number of fees submitted by student. Already we have seen, select count fees, because in the morning session I have clearly discussed this thing. Okay, so I don't think you have any problem. Display the total number of SID of student, select count of SID, that's it. Now okay, I want to select the maximum fees. This is the syntax, this is the query. Select the average of the student. These are the way you can select. Display the total fees, total sum. Any problem to anybody now? So this is the entire concept of, you know, built-in functions and multiple sequences. How to use sequence in MySQL and how to create the sequence in Oracle. So there are various way we can create the sequence. This is the entire sequence concept. Anybody is having any kind of doubt, they can ask. Okay, I'm just stopping this recording now.